Soundstripe.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Tribbett here, owner of E3 Connect with a community spotlight, and today I'm here with Nicole Klau Ibarra, and she is a local entrepreneur and has several startups and businesses, and we're here to kind of learn about what it is that she does and how she's overcoming some of the things around coronavirus and still being productive as a business owner. So I'm so glad to be able to do this interview with you today, Nicole, and hopefully you will be able to, if you'd like to take a few minutes to kind of talk about some of the things that you have going on and the work that you do, that'd be great.
Sure. Hello. I am very excited to be here. Thank you for the invite. So how I'm staying productive right now with my business and just to stay active and doing all of the work, it's actually been a challenge to have to change my ways, but I am also pretty good at trying to adapt. So one of the things that first changed is that we could no longer go to our office, which was in downtown Ashland, and then we couldn't really go there, right? We couldn't show up and we couldn't work together. And I noticed that for myself, I do way better when there's somebody around me working with me, because it's like an instinctual reminder of like, oh, am I actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or did I just get off the rails a little bit, right? And so keeping that accountability was a big change, because I had to now go home and do it from home, as well as not having as many people. Let's see. There was different expectations, and because of those different expectations, I also had to get used to the different type of work that I would do. So I had to learn how to keep myself accountable, how to stay in contact with my team, even if we were not on the same room, how to, you start doing some more online. And I actually gave a small workshop to help a couple people adapt on how to work from home and adapting to your new normal. So I was hoping
cool.
that would help some people. And we talked about that even if you're in like your home office, dress up, right? Try not to just work in pajamas, even if it's very tempting, right? It's very comfortable. Like, try to just get up, get ready. Another thing is to just keep a clean environment in your home, to set up work times and not work times, and to just be very flexible with yourself, because it is also okay to not be super hyper productive all the time, or to not be completely happy or excited about everything all the time. We are going through something difficult, and it might affect people different than others, especially, people with certain type of traumas. So I just kind of wanted to state first that it's okay if you're not okay, and it's okay if you're not productive right now. And the best thing that you can do is to take care of yourself, because when you yourself are shining, you can help other people shine too. But if you're not well, then you cannot really help anybody else. It's like in the airplane when they say to first put your own mask on, and then you can turn around and help the other person put their mask on.
Could you talk a little bit about the class that you actually did to help some people? Because it's wonderful that you were able to put that together and help some individuals.
Sure. So I was actually planning a different workshop for a little while. I was planning on teaching people with Sinovo, which is I'll talk about it later, branding workshop to help people find the essence of their business, how to communicate it, how to get their values in place, mission, purpose, etc. And when I was working on this, I was working with somebody called Natalie Castañeda, and she was working with me on doing this, branding workshop. And then we realized, hey, we're not actually going to be able to do this, right? Because not only are we just getting used to being at home and not being able to work together on this, face-to-face, but we're also not going to be able to have as much impact on people like we want to have. So what can we actually do to help the community in this moment? It's not about what we want to change as much right now. It's more about what would help the community. And so we put together a workshop on the new normal and how to work your business from home. The workshop, it was really, really sweet. It was awesome to have, some people show up and to have the questions. And she's a mother, and so she also had some tips for parents, that were also just stuck at home and having to work out ways to, hey, like right now, either mom is working or dad is working, and this is how you do it, and this is how you find the balance in between work and home. And yes, you still have to rest even though you're just working at home, right? Because work is work, and unless you teach yourself that the work you're doing now is as serious as when you were working in the office, then it's not going to be as efficient, and you're not going to be doing as well for either yourself or your business.
Yeah.
So the workshop I put together was very emphasized on that self-care part, on the part in between family, and on adjusting to the new normal and different tips and tricks for people to work from home.
That's wonderful. And if you have that online somewhere, and you can give me the link, I'd like to share that. I think that would be great. Now, I had first reached out to you as I was expanding things on LinkedIn, and then we finally actually ran into each other at you're one of the speakers at the local Women's Leadership Conference micro event. And you did a phenomenal job there. And then I came up and introduced myself in person. And then we've talked a couple times since then. And I've learned that you're wonderfully talented and definitely would be classed as an entrepreneur. Would you take a few minutes to talk about some of the different projects and things that you're passionate about and working on right now?
So I have a couple projects going on. So the way I actually first got into being an entrepreneur is when I was 14. I started a makerspace in downtown Ashland, and then from there I've been getting more and more projects. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm developing this mobile application. It is called IRL. It is like a social media that combines ancient wisdom with newer technologies. And what I mean by that is that we're not, making a whole new wheel. We're just using the things that we already even instinctually know, and by just looking at history know that we need as humans, right? So I was noticing that a lot of people in my generation were really sad, and there was some sort of disconnect that I wasn't sure what it was. And then I noticed that, hey, the amount of friends is determined by how many followers or likes you have. And different things started to not connect to me as much as I wanted. It was not what I wanted to see in the world. I didn't want to see like highly curated content that was basically getting fed to me based on the things that I already agree with, because the way Facebook and Instagram and all of those type of platform works is by having eyeball hours, right? Because the more ads you see, then the more money they can get. And the algorithm is actually made so that they feed you either things that you will completely agree with, or things on the complete other side of the spectrum, so that you get all ramped up and have, some online argument with someone that you don't even know, right?
Yeah.
And it's all mean, in purpose. And I was noticing that it was really disconnecting people from each other. Where it's like, oh, you believe in this thing, and I saw the very extreme of that thing online. Okay, I don't want to talk to you, right? Or, oh, that means that you're A, B, and C. And I was noticing it from all sides. I know there's so many different boxes and distinctions that I was like, okay, but how are we actually supposed to connect? How are we actually supposed to focus on, not on our ego, not on ourselves, right? But focus on something else that is greater. And that's when I started to get really, really interested in fashion and funded the nonprofit, the Ikigai Project, in November 2017. So Ikigai is the reason to wake up in the morning. It is the middle point in between what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. So Ikigai was something that was really calling to me because it combined a lot of aspects that are so important, right? I would notice some people say, oh, you only need passion and it doesn't matter about the money, and then they would be, not being able to pay rent, right? Or somebody would be really good at something, but they would not really like it or feel like there was not really a purpose for it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found this Japanese concept a while ago, created this nonprofit, I was like, cool, I have an awesome name. I have a nonprofit. Now what? Right? Like,
Yeah.
what do I do now? Like, how do we know the problems are there. We all can see the problems. We just cannot really agree on why the problems are there. But that's
Yeah.
not the point. The point
Yeah.
is, okay, so we know they're there. Let's create something new aside from this.
Why did you decide to specifically make this business and what you're putting together and the passion you have for that a nonprofit instead of a for-profit entity?
When I started the Makerspace, it was an LLC. And a lot of the things we were doing were actually just for the public good, and we wanted to share it more. And we realized that we could have gotten more support if we would have presented as a nonprofit rather than a for-profit.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I had the idea of the application, I thought, oh, I'm going to do this thing nonprofit so that we can get more support, so we can help more people on that nonprofit level. And so the Ikigai project, what it does is that we have been doing all of the research as well as doing just a couple of smaller workshops and passion interviews and passion interviews, just talking with some people, doing a little bit of, passion consulting. And then IRL is a separate project. So the nonprofit basically was the foundation so that then we could go, oh, we now have a different idea. Okay, let's turn this into the nonprofit. We still want to do nonprofit work because I believe that it just makes sense, to give back and to help a lot of people and to be able to, to get some of the government support, because I think that it really could help a lot of people, some of the things that we're developing for it.
Mm-hmm. It's wonderful being able to talk with you today. Like I said, with being an entrepreneur and everything, if you had if you could take just a couple minutes and maybe speak to people who are thinking about being an entrepreneur, if you had something that could help them or mindset or inspire them to continue fighting on through like the difficult times, because it's not an easy thing. What would you say, if you just, as we kind of close out the interview today, what inspiration or what what would you share with other individuals that are thinking about or struggling in being an entrepreneur?
I think the first thing I would say is not to seek for for approval from people who already seem like they will not give it to you, right? So when I first presented my Makerspace idea to that group of friends, the only thing I got was a cool, that's it, and I was so disappointed. I was like, I wanted to do it together. And then I realized as years went on and talking to different people and different family members that just do not approve of my career path or my lifestyle path, I guess, is a lot of the worry that will come from people around you comes not from a place of, oh, you cannot do it, but from a place of really caring for you, because it is risky. It's a risky lifestyle. And if you realize that they're just doing their best and they're just telling you what they know, and if you just acknowledge that they're worried and thank you for worrying about me, right? And I love you, thank you for that. But also realize that you will find different individuals that can connect with you on that different level. It might not be that specific group that you're trying to get away from, but it will come from different people, right? Really get yourself out there with network connections, because right now it's not really as much of what you know, but who you know, and that's kind of why also I'm doing the IRL application. But it's really focusing on finding your people, finding the people that will support you, finding community to help you out with ideas, and to surround yourself with people that also disagree with you, because disagreement is so important, and you will not regret having somebody tell you, oh, like that will not work because A, B, and C. Obviously, not just this thing for this thing, but having people around you that are critical to your ideas, it's so important. It's not just like a big circle. I don't know if this video is gonna be. It's like a how to say it? It's not just like, oh, that's so great, oh, that's so great, oh, that's so great, and then you never grow.
Yeah.
But if you're critical with yourself, with the other people around you, and you come from a place of helping them figure out the best solution for that, it's so important. And so I would say if you're starting to be an entrepreneur, start looking for those same people that are also wanting to be entrepreneurs, because it's community that will help you hold up together and keep your ideas in check and keep yourself in check too. Because you know that when you're held accountable by a group of people, you cannot just say like, oh, I'm totally doing this thing, and then nobody knows about it and nobody talks about it, and you've only been told, oh, that's so great, and that's it. It's like you will not know, what will happen when you actually go out in the critical market, and etc. Oh, also to always educate yourself wherever you can, because nobody can know everything all the time, and just learn from wherever you can learn.
That's phenomenal. I think some of the most valuable information is that pushback that you get from individuals, not people saying how brilliant you are and what a great idea it is. It's the people that'll tell you the truth and the difficult things. And so, I mean, everybody says that. Elon Musk, everybody says like those difficult conversations or different points of view are the most valuable, because you can't know everything. So, this has been absolutely wonderful. I'm glad that we were able to connect and do this interview today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll let you know when we get ready to post this interview. Okay.